Emma.
Morning, Melanie.
In support of International Women's Day, I just want to ask you quite a direct question, if you don't mind. And that question is, in your opinion, given that you're the Managing Director of Ridley Hall and a very well-known and well-respected matrimonial lawyer, I wanted to ask you what your opinion was on how women in law progress to senior positions, and whether, in your opinion, do you feel that there's a glass ceiling?
I do think it is still very difficult for women to progress up the career management ladder. And I think there are still more men than women in management positions within law firms. There's no doubt about that. Mm-hmm. And one of the difficulties is the reality of, for a lot of women in law, managing a family. Mm-hmm. And finding that work-life balance, and I found it as difficult as everybody finds it. And I'll always say openly to everybody, I was very lucky in that I had a husband who was very proactive in helping with the children, which did give me that extra time to focus on my career. But a lot of it, actually, I think, is down to women supporting other women.
Yeah.
And it's down to having the confidence to go for it. Mm-hmm. Because, I don't know why, but a lot of women, if faced with a job specification and they could do 5 of the 8 requirements in the job specification, they would say, oh, I don't know if I can do that job. Mm-hmm. And I work with lots of males who in that situation would say, well, I can do 5 out of 8. So, yeah, I'm going to go for it.
Yeah.
And, I've always been supported, by other women around me, actually, genuinely, to just go for it and give it a try. And what is there to lose? Mm-hmm. And I think once you develop that mentality, then actually you can do anything. Mm-hmm. For me, that really has been the key. And the starting point was a lovely lady who I often name, called Kathy Hughes, who was a partner at Chadwick Lawrence Solicitors, where I was a trainee. And she pushed me to move on and up, and was so supportive at a time in my life as a young female solicitor, particularly with a young family, that I probably wouldn't have dared to do it without her. So I think, as a group of women in the profession, we all have a big responsibility to help each other. And I'd like to think that's what I do for the women around me. But of course, only they will say whether I'm successful in that.
No, it's true. I remember actually asking you as a trainee, I think we were going to court together on a train, and I said, this is before I had any children, and I said, how on earth do you manage to juggle it all? And you just said to me, you'll know, you just do. You just do. And it's true, isn't it? You just do. And I think you're right, having that support and encouragement behind the scenes at home as well as at work, yeah. You absolutely need it. It's the foundation, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. And it's having that in-depth belief in yourself. Don't let other people put you down. Don't let other people put you off.
Yeah.
And that was it for me, actually, because I could easily have been put off at certain points in my career. I could easily have been afraid, actually, to dare to do it.
Yeah, I can imagine. Yeah, definitely. So you don't think that there's a glass ceiling for women? Just go for it.
Only insofar as we allow ourselves to be put off trying something. Mm-hmm. So, I think there is opportunity for women out there, all women. And I think we just now have to help each other do it.
Yeah, absolutely. Great. Thank you, Emma. That's really insightful. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Melanie.
Hi, Vicky.
Hello.
Hello. So in support of International Women's Day, I just wanted to ask you a question, if that's all right, about your career in the law, because I'd really like to find out what inspired you to get into law and why you enjoy it.
So I got into law a little bit by mistake. I went to Lancaster University to do history, but we did 3 subjects to the same level, and I took law as one of them. I really loved the law course and didn't really like the history course, so I decided to carry on with law. But we did quite a lot of criminal law, and I found it really fascinating, the sort of cases that we dealt with, because the one aspect I love is human behaviour. I've always really enjoyed that. So actually, when I started as a trainee solicitor, I was asked by my principal what law I wanted to go into, and I said family law straight away. And he said, you won't go into family law. Nobody goes into the law that they think they're going to go into. So I'm the exception to the rule and quite proud of that. But I love dealing with people. That's what really inspires me every day. Dealing with all sorts of different people and really difficult circumstances, and the way everybody deals with it and manages to bring themselves out. I should probably be cynical, having done it now for 30 years, but human behaviour always really inspires me, and seeing clients in really difficult circumstances, finding a way out, that's kind of what drives me.
Yeah, I think a few people have said that actually. This is the area of law where your personality can really come out, can't it? And
yes, yeah, definitely.
That interaction.
Yeah, I've always been really good with people, and I think that really helps, because, you know, when people are going through a difficult time, they need a human face, and I think all of our team do that. You know, they provide people with sympathy, but also sensible legal advice. And sometimes it's really frustrating that the law doesn't provide us with enough protection for people, or enough answers, the answers that they want to hear. But at least we're able to tell them the way to go with things. And I think that's really good.
Yeah, definitely. Completely agree. Thank you. That's really nice to hear.
Thank you.
Right. Okay, so Nikki, you have been a legal secretary for a long period of time now. Do you want to just tell us what you like about being a legal secretary and PA, and how long you've done it and how you got into it?
I became a legal secretary probably about 18 years ago. It might be longer than that. Oh, I'm not sure. And I worked in PI, and I worked for somebody who did personal injury and also clinical negligence for about 3 years. But then, our current MD now at Ridley Hall, her secretary was leaving to go and work in Australia, emigrating there. So I just happened to say, oh, can I come and work in family? Which I did. So I worked with her for 3 years. She then left, and then I followed her, and then eventually she started at Ridley Hall. But yeah, so I've been doing family for a good 15 years probably, which I really enjoy, and more so because it's more involved with clients. It's very personable. You can chat with clients, and it doesn't necessarily have to be about the case. And everybody's different with emotions, as far as emotions go, when they're going through a divorce or children matters. But I just find it really interesting. And whether you're a secretary or whether you're a solicitor, dealing with these clients, I just think if you've got a personality that endears you to people, or and I just think it works well, and I love it, and I really enjoy my job. And obviously working at Ridley Hall, it's a small firm but getting bigger, and it's just a nice family firm to work with. And obviously the people I work with, yes, especially in the family team, we're all women, and it's it's just, we've got a great team, and I think we're all strong personalities, but we work well together.
Yeah, completely. We're quite female heavy, aren't we? And I do wonder.
We are, yeah. But I think if we bought, like, obviously we had someone earlier in the year who was a guy, and last year we worked with a guy came and worked with us, and it was lovely. It was a nice difference, that change. But at the moment, yes, we are. There's a lot of women, but it's great. It works really well.
Yeah,
No.
It does, and you're absolutely right. Your personality can come across, and when you're dealing with people in a time of family crisis, you need to be able to have that personality, don't you, to help them get through, without a doubt. No, I think that as well. Oh, thanks, Nikki. That's really good. Thank you for answering for us.
Pleasure. Absolute pleasure.
Right. Hi, Vicky.
Hi.
I just wanted to ask you, in support of International Women's Day, which is coming up next week, Monday the 8th of March, can you tell me what inspired you to get into law and why you enjoy it?
So I firstly got into law when I studied it at college. I'd seen Legally Blonde, and I think I was quite naive and thought, like many people, that it'd be just like that film, but as we know, it's nothing like that. But I really enjoyed it actually when I was at college. So then I went on to uni to study it there as well, and really enjoyed it, and liked sort of the different cases, the different elements to it, and sort of the different skills you utilise, I think, on a daily basis as well. Because obviously you use sort of your legal head, but at the other side of things, you also have to use sort of like your human side as well, and understand ultimately you're speaking to real people who have real issues, and this is a big thing that's affecting their lives. But I really enjoy sort of the different aspects of law, utilising obviously the law itself, but also you have to do a lot of sort of thinking, a lot of research, and have a lot of conversations with clients and obviously with your colleagues as well, to see if they can offer different perspectives. And you never know which way a case is going to go either. So
that's so true.
Yeah, especially the children matters as well. I mean, you can advise your client, you think it should go one way, but you can't guarantee that it will, depending on which judge you get and which day it is. So yeah, I really enjoy it.
I love the reference to Legally Blonde. I think that's fantastic, and I wonder how many other people will be in this situation, having watched a film or something on TV, and then they think, right, that's what I want to do. Obviously, it's clearly very different, isn't it? But yeah, I have actually been called Legally Blonde in the past.
I think it's a great compliment. Yeah.
Well, I just wanted to tell you as well how I got into it, given that we're on the subject, and slightly different to you. So I'd not watched a film or anything, but in school, when I was planning for my GCSEs and I was choosing my subjects, we had some careers advice at the time, and I literally looked down the list of careers and I thought, right, what is one of the most hardest things to do? And for some silly reason, I chose law. And that's then how I geared all my subjects around law. And I worked really hard. But academically, my teachers were like, I think you're going to really struggle. I always kind of just did average. And when it came to my grades, and I just wanted to push myself and try and prove that I could do something, because I was the first person in my family to go to university. Were you?
Apart from my sister, so second, yeah.
She's older than you.
Yeah, she is, yeah.
Yeah, so I ended up pushing myself to do it, and I struggled. It wasn't easy, was it? Going and doing law and doing A levels and things like that as well. It was really hard. But I just knew at the end of it that I'd absolutely love it, and I just thought, well, law you need to be able to explain it to the average and normal person. I can't kind of put myself in that category. I thought, well, if I can try and make sense of it, then hopefully I can try and explain it as best I can to people like me. And that was the whole reason why I got into it. And here we are.
Here we are, yeah. However many years later.
Oh, well, thanks, Vicky. That's great.
Thanks, Mel.
Hi, Emma. Good morning.
Hi, Mel. All right.
Yeah, good, thank you. So in support of International Women's Day, which is Monday the 8th of March, I just wanted to ask you a question, if that's all right.
Yeah, absolutely.
The question I wanted to ask is whether you feel being a woman in law has created more challenges or opportunities.
So yeah, that's probably overall my feeling would be and I would like to think it hasn't made a huge difference being a woman, but there are a couple of areas where I think it probably has created more challenges and well, some
some stuff that I'm sure wouldn't happen to a man. So I thought I'd share with you just an experience I had in an interview a long time ago, and I won't say with which firm. But I was asked quite an inappropriate question, which referenced my age and the fact I was a woman, and that I would obviously be wanting to go and have babies quite soon.
Really?
And I remember being quite taken aback. I think it was kind of intended as a controversial question to kind of provoke, but so inappropriate on so many levels, and I would like to think that that wouldn't happen today, and that probably I would have probably done something about it afterwards, rather than just being someone who was quite young and junior and not really knowing how to take it. As I recall, I answered that that wasn't on my radar at the present time, but that I would like to think that that any person I was with and having a child would share equally in those kind of responsibilities.
Wow. Good response.
But yeah, it was quite a shock though. But yeah, that was quite a few years ago, and I think that things have probably changed. I was put off from networking for quite a long period of time, because I felt that was quite male dominated, and a lot of events that seemed to be, and I think it might have been the area of law that sort of I was initially involved in as a trainee, was quite sort of male centered, and there was the heavy drinking and sort of ending up in lap dancing bars seemed to be sort of what I understood to be networking. So for quite a long time, I sort of felt, oh, that's not for me. But so I started off joining female-focused networking groups to kind of find my feet with it, and then discovered great support in those kind of groups, and then built my confidence so that I sort of felt I could go sort of more out into the world, and now I don't sort of get that sense from those kind of activities at all. I think it's everyone takes you as you are, and everyone's on an equal footing. So those are probably the challenges I would say that I've come across, and just where I felt that probably those experiences wouldn't have happened if I'd have been a sort of young male.
It'd have been totally different.
Trainee solicitor, certainly. So, and then sort of the other side of stuff where I'd say with challenges are probably more to do with being the way that the culture of well, some firms, that it's not just in law generally, that when you do start a family, that that the expectation is that as a woman you will take maternity leave, and there isn't the same understanding for fathers within a lot of organisations, and I think that leads to a lot of young dads feeling that they can't ask for flexible working, and that they can't ask for the same kind of things that we can, and I think that's where it's easier for women who go on to have families to ask for those kind of changes. But actually, I think a lot of dads would also like to feel that they could do that, and technically, legally, they can ask for those things. But I think culturally, perhaps some places haven't caught up with that as of yet.
Yeah, completely agree. Oh, that's really good. Thank you, Emma. That's great. Thanks so much.
Right. Okay, thanks.